Hey guys, Tom from Touchscreen here, and I want to talk about something that in past has been considered a bit of a dirty tactic, or we talk about the word gamesmanship in the game of touch football, and this is about when you win the toss, you swap sub boxes, or you say, like, you're already set up on one sub box, the other team's already set up on the other sub box, they've done their little warm up, and you say, we're swapping, we want your sub box. So this is what I want to talk about. So leave a comment on the way you think about this. But let's have a look at the rules. So we've got section 7 here, 7.1. Team captains are to toss the coin in the presence of the referee, with the winning captain's team having the choice of the direction of the team, the direction the team wishes to run in the first half, the choice of interchange areas, that's the key one, including any, for the duration of the match, including any extra time, and the choice of which team will commence the match in possession. But we're looking at point 2 here. So it's well within your rights to say to the other team, we want your sub box. And throughout my touch career, I've been playing touch for 25 years now, and up until maybe only 5 years ago, around the COVID time, did I start seeing this happening. And when I started seeing it happening, there was so many people that were disappointed in teams that would do that, and it was seen as such a massive unnecessary disruption to the game. Sometimes games were delayed by 30 seconds to a minute because, like, not only did you just have to walk to the other sub box, you had to grab your bags, you had to grab your drinks. If you had a medical person in the sub box, they had to grab all their gear and take it over. So why would teams do this? You're perfectly set up on one side of the field, and you want to go to the other side of the field and spend the game over there. So what would be something to trigger that? The first thing I think of is like a mind game, like the mental game to try and unsettle the opposition. That has happened. I coached a quarterfinal one time. It was a junior quarterfinal, and we lost the toss, and there was no sort of mitigating factors, and the other team went swap. And I said, okay. It didn't actually bother me because, like, as you're probably aware, I'm all about the rules, and if that's the rule, I don't care why it's the rule. It's just the rule. So we just swallowed our medicine and went over the other side. But recently, especially at the NTL, the championships that I was recently at, depending on when this video comes out, last week or whatever, there was a lot of it. There was a lot of sub boxes being changed, and I think there's probably a couple of reasons why you would want to change the sub box. One, obviously NTL on grand final day on the main field, one of the sub boxes was just an absolute mud pit. It was so hard to walk around. That was the sub box that my team ended up with in the grand final. So hard to walk around with. When you were running onto the field, you couldn't get traction, you couldn't get some speed, momentum running on the field. It was so uncomfortable. They tried to put out a little bit of plastic at the back of the sub box for us to stand in, but that got covered in mud as well. Whereas the other box was just grass. There was nothing wrong with it. So obviously, come grand final day, I think everyone that won the toss ended up on the far box, whether they were there already or not. Lucky for us, we had the toss in the tunnel, so we actually knew that we were going out on the field to the crappy box, and we didn't have to do a warm-up and then swap. The other one obviously could be the sun. If you've got a very early or a very late game and your box is looking directly into the sun, that might be grounds for wanting to swap boxes. The only downside to that is if you're looking into the sun when you're in the box, it means if you should be showing the logo. If you are looking into the looking into the sun from the sub box, the downside of that is when you are trying to sub, you are now running into the sun. So I don't think there's much difference in that. I would probably rather look into the sun in the sub box than try to sub and look into the sun while running towards the sub box, but that's just me. So yeah, the weather, obviously a big impact. Another one, especially with juniors, and it's probably not something that if I was coaching a junior team, it'd be enough to make me want to swap sub boxes. But if you have one box in the middle of the field that's isolated and it's an area where only players and officials are allowed to go, and then the other side is right near the fenced off area with all the parents, That can be a little bit distracting for the players to see like mum and dad like right there, or their friends getting in their ear and stuff like that while they're trying to focus. That can be a big distraction. That could be some coaches might say that's enough for them to want the other sub box. The other one is if you're playing a competition where one of the boxes might be sharing with another team. That would be that's annoying because it's very awkward. It's such a tight squeeze trying to share that sub box. So I can understand that being a motivation to steal another sub box. But like I said, if you've ever done that before, let us know in the comments why you stole someone's sub box. If you completely disagree and you think that should never happen, organise it before you go out there, or whoever gets there first in best dress. I think the last game that I actually stole, or I was coaching a team and I gave the captain the right to steal the sub box was, I'm not going to say what the tournament was, but we walked out near the field to warm up, and there was a warm-up section on one side of the field that the opposition had already taken. So we were like, okay, that's fine. They're on that side of the field. They'll take that sub box. So we walked over the other side and we're like, oh, how good's this? This sub box is in the shade, and it was about 35 degrees outside. It was in Australian summer. So we were like, we warm up here. And as soon as the hooter went for the previous game, you see the other team from the other side of the field sprint to the sub box right next to us, and they just put their bags down before we could get up. So it was like, you want to take the good spot to warm up, but then you want out the sub box on our side. So I said to our captain, I said, if you want to take that, if you win the toss, you can take that if you want. And he did. And when we're swapping, I was like, we have to win now. It would be very embarrassing if we just pull an alpha move, take their sub box, and then they beat us. And luckily we managed to win the game. But that was more out of sort of frustration, or we'll get them back or something like that. And that bit of mind games there. There wasn't really any sort of disadvantage by changing the sub box. We just wanted to sort of get under their skin a little bit. But like I said, let us know if you've ever done that, why you did that. Do you think that this should be frowned upon? Because I know a lot of people frown upon taking the sub box, especially in the past. It was considered just almost poor sportsmanship. But in my opinion, I think if it's a rule and you're well within your rights to do it, if you think that by following a rule can get you an advantage, then by all means go for it. I see nothing wrong with that. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll have some more of these talking points out in the future. They're sort of going to come out randoms. They're not like our breakdowns that come out every week at the exact same time. It's just whenever I can think of something to talk about, get time to talk about it, and then edit it, we will send it out. But thanks again. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Touchscreen.